I'm gonna need a lot more of you once this season starts. Oh, sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the college football preview stream. I am your host, Billy, or Vault Bill 99, and I am joined by a couple of friends of mine. I'm joined by Akbar Fan. You guys can unmute now. And I'm joined by Red5478. Yeah, flip me off. I'm not the one that caused your therapy bill. And I'm joined by Frank.
For that shit.
Frank Andor City Hand. How's it going?
Yeah, we are here to talk about how do we feel about our teams and talk about like the Power Four and possibly the one group of 5 teams that's gonna make it.
Shall I start first?
But yeah, go ahead. Just go explain your teams. Like who do you root for? Why do you root for? And why do you hate a certain rival?
Okay, well, mine's probably going to be like 2 sentences. It's Oklahoma, first year in the SEC, and honestly, just have enough. Just 6 wins to get it, make a bowl game is probably all I'm going. Is all the bare minimum at this point right now.
Alrighty, Red.
Well,
oh God,
Ohio State, obviously, first and foremost. Shut up! I still haven't forgiven Oklahoma for playing that goddamn flag at midfield that far. I haven't forgotten what that goddamn asshole Baker Mayfield did to us.
No, anyway. I was just saying 2 as in the AP poll came out in year 2.
Yeah, no, we're 2. I'm just telling you straight up. One Ohio State fan to a damn Okie Sooner. We haven't forgiven you. Anyway, point is, it is national title or bust, undefeated season or bust. I think it's been pretty goddamn clear based on how hard we hit the transfer portal, based on the players that we were able to nab, including one Caleb Downs, who got on the life raft from Alabama, make his way over here. Picked up Will Howard from Kansas State. He's going to be a damn good quarterback. We got a great offensive line to keep his ass in the pocket because he's not a mobile guy. First time we haven't had a pocket passer, I think, in a long time. I want to say since Troy Smith. That said, it's self-explanatory that we need to beat that motherfucker team up north. Who they finished their story. They got their victory lap, albeit probably cheating, but whatever. They're not going to get a strip because it's a bunch of pussies. And gonna beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, and win the national title. That is the plan. And if it's anything less than that, Ryan Day's head will be on a pike down Fifth Avenue in no time.
Frank.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Frank. The team that I cheer for is the Arizona State University Sun Devils. The reason I cheer for that team is because I gave them $80,000 on accident. I don't know why I gave them that much money, but oh well, they have it now. My expectations for this year, realistically, a winning season would be a surprise to everyone. That's realistically where I'm going at. The good news is that everything in the past is gone. We have fulfilled all of the sanctions that have been given to us by the NCAA. We have no more recruiting violations, no more suspension periods, none of that, anything going on. Everything from the Herm Edwards era is gone. It's now Dillingham's time. It's a second year for Kenny Dillingham. New QB room to develop a bunch of new recruits who believe in the system and is ready to go. And we have a new athletic director trying to spark interest into the NIL hole and to try and fill that much need. And yeah, realistically, there's not a lot of hope for what I got. So it's just all about seeing what hopefully comes from this. And realistically, I would just like to have more than 3 wins, which is what we had last season.
Hopefully,
Damn, I
hopefully
did not
win
realize you were a damn Sun Devil. Fuck, dude. I remember watching
Yeah.
Herm Edwards get his ass fired in the end zone by the athletic director right after the game
Yeah,
was over.
that was
Good
that
Lord.
was a crazy time. And then
I mean,
yeah,
Frank, you play to win the game, and he didn't win.
no, he played.
One
That's
second.
anything though. That's for sure. Yeah. So NCAA was in recruiting violations because of Herm Edwards and specifically current head coach of the Oakland Raiders was our defensive coordinator, Antonio Pierce, who recruited players outside of normal recruiting periods. And so Arizona State laid the hammer on themselves by giving us a self-imposed bowl ban last year. And this year, NCAA finally carried out the results from their investigation and gave us a couple. We lost maybe I think a couple of scholarships, some recruitment dead period that we couldn't recruit at. But realistically, it was a very small penalty because the university penalized themselves so hard. So so that's all gone. That's good. That's all that matters that it's gone.
Sorry, I got like ADHD and all that stuff. So it's hard for me to stay still in the seat a lot of times. I get a little fidgety.
So. I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
And I was wanting to say, with what is going on here, honestly, Red's probably got the easiest path and all that stuff because it's Ohio State.
We do. We do. Have you seen our schedule?
I'm gonna look at their schedule now. You said it.
Okay.
I'm looking at their schedule now. You said something.
Because it isn't.
I'm pulling it up.
Isn't now just simply Penn State and Michigan you got to worry about.
We got to play Oregon in Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
They got to play Oregon at Oregon.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is Oregon still the same without Bo Nix now?
Well, they did pick up Dylan Gabriel from your fucking school.
Yeah, and also honestly, you can't count out Dan. You can't count out their head coach. He is a motivator.
Dan Lanning is my Oregon video, which is at 15,000 views by now. I will say that it blew the fuck up, and the Ducks fans, classiest fucking fan base I've ever dealt with in my time on YouTube by far. The Duck fans, they can take a punch. They can take many punches and still look up and smile and be like, yeah, you son of a bitch. We're going to get you this year, though. And be chill about it. And I gained so much respect from the Oregon fan base after that video came out. And I learned so much about the Ducks' history that it makes sense. It's a team that, historically speaking, has had a tortured past. They have always been either looked down upon by their own athletic department, by their own conference, or by the nation as a whole. And to a certain degree, they fucking deserve it. To a certain degree, they don't. For example, 2001, we can bring back up that goddamn debacle with the Rose Bowl fiasco where Nebraska was selected to the national championship to be summarily executed by the U2 in Miami. Over an undefeated Oregon, who ended up beating the shit out of a non-prime Colorado Buffalo. So in the Fiesta Bowl, and we were robbed of that national championship, and Oregon was absolutely fucked out of that. 2011, they did it to themselves because they forgot the golden rule of football: play the whistle. When the Dwyer tackle, I think it was the Dyer tackle actually, that pretty much let Auburn run all the way to the end zone and kick a field goal to win. And again, in 2015, they were summarily executed by Ohio State in Jerry World, and they really did not play the same since. Dan Lanning has finally built a program back up in Eugene that is respectable and is a solid team. Now, the one thing, I'm going to be spoiling some of the shit that I'm going to be broadcasting on Saturday, because Saturday or Sunday, depending on how long it takes to make the video, I'm going to be dropping a full review on the Big Ten Conference, all 18 teams.
Wasn't there
they have a
Wasn't there like a certain event in 1963 that happened in Dallas?
We're not talking about it, but anyway, we're not doing that here.
1963.
No,
This isn't illogical Canadian fantasy football league.
it's not. But
Anyway.
God damn it, we're not going there today. I don't. I don't know.
Billy, from one Riff Track fan to another, I'm remembering that one Santa short where it's like it was a footage of Santa riding in the back of a car, and then Kevin Murphy goes, "Here he is in Dallas in 1963."
Anyways, let's talk about the Atlantic Coast.
Wasn't it
Conference.
Ryan Day? Here, one thing. Wasn't it Ryan Day? This is my thing with Oregon, though.
Or
Actually, no. I'll save it for the big. I'll save it when we cover the Big Ten.
Alrighty.
Let me finish my thought on Oregon real quick.
Yeah.
Long story, CLDR, they got an overpowered offense, but their defense is still not fully eliminated themselves from Pac-12 mode. It'll still be a little porous, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's start with the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Or
I got
or might as well.
I got
or-
Alternate Sports right here. So let's just go. I'll allow my guests to go first. Let's go Akbar, me, Red, and then Frank, and then reverse around for the Big 12.
Okay, well, for starters, we shouldn't call it the Athletic Coastal Conference anymore. We should at least call they could get away if they can call themselves the American Coastal Conference. You could still keep ACC and it would
Not Atlantic
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Basically, all your teams are on both coasts of the nation.
I mean that one Kansas State guy had like an interest when he was talking about the Pac-12 of like the initial proposal between like Notre Dame and the military academies was calling it the Airplane Conference. And anyways, Akbar, give me a team that's gonna win the conference. Give me the team that's gonna perform total dog shit, and give me a team that's gonna be your dark horse.
Okay, well, give me a second to look up the ACC teams for a second.
All right, take it.
Let's keep this kind of loose. You know what I mean? Like if we structure this too much, it's going to get kind of repetitive. you know?
Okay. Well,
Keep it
Especially
going.
because ACC, like, it's going to be hard to bring up.
okay.
Yeah,
well, for
not
starters-
everybody here is an ACC aficionado. Not everybody here has researched every single power conference like me. So let's just play kind of fast and loose.
I'm playing fast and loose with everything, basically, practically.
Let's go,
but-
Akbar. Rip and rip. Let's go.
Okay, well, anyways, in terms of who's going to win, Florida State's going to definitely be playing as pissed off as Georgia will probably be this year in the SEC. They're basically so pissed off they're going to freaking. I pity anyone that plays them because they're going to be so pissed.
Hold on, I'm getting breaking news. It's Akbar. Georgia scored another touchdown on Florida State. Now it's like 7 million into 3.
No. You got to do it like Who's Line. This just in: Beverly Hills 90210, Cleveland Browns 3.
There you go. Continue that
Go
part.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I got that. So yeah, Florida State probably going to win the conference. If I have to say who's probably going to come last, honestly, I'm probably just going to. I'm more throwing what I'm seeing here out there. Probably Boston College. Probably. I don't know. Well, who's usually the garbage team of the conference these past couple of years?
Oh, you have to remember the new teams that we included because the ACC didn't grab the best from the Pac-12; they grabbed the worst. So don't forget the worst Pac-12 teams that they grabbed, which
Yeah,
is
let's see.
Stanford and Cal.
Yeah, Stanford.
And
Also, don't forget the
yeah.
basketball schools as well. Don't
Yeah.
forget the basketball schools that don't have football programs as well. Don't forget those.
Yeah. And then
So you have a lot to choose from when it comes to the worst in conference.
Yeah. And then who's dark horse? I don't know.
Well, you didn't give the worst team.
I thought I did.
There's
I
a lot
thought I
to
said
choose
Boston
from.
College.
He said
Oh,
Boston
Boston
College.
College.
yeah.
My bad.
Boston College.
Not bad.
Yeah. The Boston College or friggin' Stanford.
Boston College or Stanford. I mean, Boston College did hire a certain butt chin as head coach.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got Bill O'Brien.
They do?
Yeah.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
And they can fucking have it. He was going to go coach as an offensive coordinator on Ohio State, and then Boston College swooped in and robbed us, which we were more than happy to part ways with him after 3 days because, good Lord, our offense was already going to hell during the offseason.
Reds was like, thank you, Jesus.
And then Chip Kelly came in, but we'll get there.
How
Yeah.
does he still have a job after what he did with the Texans? I'm surprised anyone wanted to touch him.
He's been a special advisor to a couple different teams. He was in Alabama for a quick spell as a special advisor to the offense. But that was about it.
Yeah.
Who was LSU's defensive coordinator that year after they won the national championship in 2020?
Fuck, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Bo.
But irrelevant to the.
Yeah, I know.
conference.
Sorry.
I like how.
I get off topic sometimes. Sorry. Roll me back.
I like how.
Okay, and finally, you were asking about Dark Horse, for the conference. And honestly, I mean, I know some people were probably saying like either it's obviously the two teams that'll probably be competing for the title in the conference will be Florida State and Clemson. That's probably no secret.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a dark horse, I'm gonna just straight up pick probably maybe North Carolina.
That's a good dark horse.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Because I'm looking at Wikipedia. I'm looking at the Athletic Coast Conference. They got ESPN has got North Carolina at 30, Rivals 23, 24/7 26, On 3 Recruits 27, and total signees 27. So I'm just like, why not?
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, this is irrelevant to the ACC, but I like how the Oregon Ducks mascot just went to every single Big Ten stadium and tried to get in. But
they pulled a full Eric Andre. Let me in.
Let me in. I mean, he did enter the Ohio State stadium. Funny enough.
That's true. We were cordial with them.
Yeah.
They get one. They did kick up one on us in our house.
I'm going to point this out because the AP just came out with the top 25. Here's the four. We got Florida State at 10, Clemson at 14, Miami at 19, and North Carolina State at 24.
NC State's been kind of
Miami is lower than Clemson?
Yeah, Miami's 19.
After the
Clemson
season they had
14.
last year?
Yeah,
I don't know why
especially
Miami's that high up.
last year.
You shouldn't be ranked after that one game against shoot.
Yeah.
We'll
laugh
get there,
laugh at Cristobal, but isn't Dabo Swinney supposed to be the guy we're laughing at?
Dabo Swinney don't know the portal. That's what it is.
He doesn't use the
Like
portal.
Dabo Swinney is like, I could build a college football team by the word of God.
He says he wants to do it the old-fashioned way. That's why it's old-fashioned. Anyway,
that didn't look like it was going to work for Saban.
No. Saban also has like how many rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Dabo's got 2, doesn't he?
He does. But still.
Yeah.
So that
Really?
you might be able to get some recruits to come there just on the sheer fact that, hey, you're Clemson, you're probably going to get a lot of good national attention and all that stuff. Because like half these kids are going to be going because they want to be trying to get spotted for the NFL and all that stuff. You don't really get spotted as well if you're playing for, say, I'm trying to think of a random
North Dakota State.
Oh no, I'm trying to think of a FCS school.
You're not going to get as many looks if you're playing at Syracuse or Georgia Tech or
thank you.
Or
Thank
Bishop Sycamore.
Geez, they joined college football now.
They're not part of the ACC. Anyway,
Billy, what's your word on this whole American coastal, all coast central conference bullshit?
I call it the Airplane Coastal Conference. But
That's what
I will say this: I feel like the conference championship is going to be an all Florida battle between Florida State and Miami, and I think Miami is going to pull the edge on it.
Why?
Okay, I feel like Mario Cristobal has a lot riding on him with like the recruiting class and everything. I think plus I feel like other than Florida State, I feel like Miami has like a pretty good schedule, like an easy schedule to have. Then again, as long as they kneel the ball down, and as long as they kneel, then they will be good.
Yep. All right. What about your dark horse and your worst team, buddy?
Worst team. It's gonna be Stanford. It's gonna be Stanford. Dark horse. You know, he's winning in USF, but I gotta give him some hope. Georgia Tech.
What is it about Georgia Tech besides double band that is making me want to pick them out?
Nuke. Well, I feel like Georgia Tech is going to be a really sneaky good team. Not like conference, like sneak into like the conference championship. I feel like they're going to be a really good team. Like
Okay.
possibly.
Okay.
Frank.
All right. My conference winner is going to be Florida State. Just returning pieces and revenge story and all of that sort of thing. They're clearly going to be the team to beat in the ACC. My worst team, I'm actually going to pick Duke for this one, the perennial punching bag. Feel like they get clowned on all the time about being the worst football team, but there's a good reason why.
Well, here's the thing, Frank. Like the last 2 seasons, they were decent, but that was because
why.
of Mike Elko.
And now he's gone. He's gone over to A&M.
Yeah, now he's a part of the cult. The cult of Reveille.
A&M couldn't steal from one basketball school in Kentucky, so they had to steal from the other one.
Yeah, they paid a guy $76 million, not the fucking coach. Jesus
Exactly.
Christ.
Jimbo's buyout donation drive.
Anyways, Frank, continue.
For my dark horse, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with this one. This is going to be controversial as to whether or not you consider them a dark horse, but I'm going to consider it just because their run of success is very recent, and it hasn't been it's very recent. They haven't had multiple seasons where they've been successful. So I'm going to go with NC State as my dark horse. I know they're starting ranked, so some people are like, they're already on top. NC State hasn't been on top for the past 5 seasons. Last season was really good for them, for the program. I see them still continuing that and doing well. I don't know about conference championship, but a pretty good run in the ACC would be really nice. My biggest thing to watch on, though, the one that I'm curious about, and the one that I'm probably going to be watching this whole season, is SMU. Because number one, I don't know how the hell they got into the ACC in the first place. And number two, now they're with the big dogs. Can they, A, show out every single game and show that they're a college school? And B, are their players ready to play at that high of a level?
Well, as long as NC State doesn't beat Tennessee, I will be happy by that. Anyways, Red, go ahead.
So, this is a very, very interesting conference. You look at the slate of teams, they picked up 3 schools during the absolute chaos that was conference realignment last year. Cal, Stanford, SMU. All right. We'll get back to one of those teams in a moment.
Red. Look who arrived.
How y'all doing?
Motherfucker.
I don't have much time. I gotta go to bed at like 10:15 because I got.
All right, just give me who you think's gonna win the ACC, and do you believe that Georgia Tech is gonna be a dark horse?
If you say the goddamn rambling wreck, man, I'm gonna puke.
We're not. I'm not. As a Tech fan, and you sort of grow into this as a Tech fan. Even though early in my life we were good, but then Collins came and kind of turned us into a shit show. But we're stable again. There's that. We're somewhat. We're not terrible. Last year, of course, we went 6-6, won the bowl game, and had our first winning record in I think 5 seasons. And so that was a good step up. Brent Key, really confident in him. Of course, he played at Tech in the 90s when we were pretty good. Late 90s under George O'Leary. And Haynes King, I mean, if he can limit the interceptions, Haynes King has a chance to be a really good quarterback. I mean, he just needs to limit the turnovers. What the hell is happening in there?
He's got dogs.
Sounds like
My
there's some-
idiot dogs.
all right. Sound like some horror movie shit in there. Like, I was like, what? But he has a chance to, if he can lower the turnovers, he has a chance to be really good. Tech returns most of their production on offense. We have a really good wide receiver core. O-line last year was the best in terms of rushing, production. And the key running back this year will be Jamal Haynes, who was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, second team All-ACC. He'll be the guy to watch running-wise. Wide receiver-wise, Eric Singleton Jr., sophomore, really good speedster, can burn corners. Chase Lane's there. He'll be back from injury. Malik Rutherford, he's there. I mean, we have a really deep wide receiver group. And then on defense, that's where the question marks arrive. Tech has a new defensive coordinator in Tyler Stanucci, who comes from Duke. You also have a D-line that lost some guys to the portal. Daquan Dowse went to Michigan State, and Kyle Kennard went to South Carolina. And those were two of the better defensive linemen in that group. However, Zeke Biggers is still there, and he is an absolute unit. Linebackers, Tech actually, I think, improved. They got E.J. Lightsley from Georgia out of the portal. Kyle Eford's still there. And then the cornerbacks, they were supposed to be great last year, and they were still decent, but the cornerbacks and safeties, they were kind of a letdown last year, but they still have Clayton Powell-Lee and LaMiles Brooks are there. Tight end-wise on offense, Brett Seither, there's rumors that he tore his ACL. However, nothing's been confirmed yet. If he's hurt, then it'll be Jackson Hawes and what's his name? I forget. We have another tight end. That's the breakdown of the roster. Now, for Tech's schedule, that's where it gets tough. Tech has the hardest non-ACC schedule, non-SEC schedule in the country. You're
playing Georgia every year.
Yeah, but not only that, you open with a top 10 team in Florida State. Notre Dame is mid-season. They're another top 10 team. However, that's played in Atlanta. That's going to be in the Dome, the Benz. And you also have, for the first time in forever, Clemson's not on the schedule. I think the last time Tech did not play Clemson was 1982. Long time since they haven't met. So that's off the schedule. However, Miami, they always get preseason hype, but I think Miami will legitimately be somewhat good this year. They have Cam Ward at quarterback, and they got a legit running back in that Martinez kid. I think Miami will go 8-4 or 9-3, which would be a really good improvement for Cristobal. And I think Miami motivated after, I would say what Tech did to them, but that's kind of what Miami did to themselves.
What they did to themselves.
Obviously, Tech had to earn it by driving 70 yards in 20 seconds without a timeout, but Miami shouldn't have even been in that position on defense had they just taken a knee. That is the stupidest win I've ever seen and the funniest win I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it. When that happened, I jumped into my dad's arms, and he had to ice his back the next day. We couldn't believe it. Like, I thought it was over. I was making my bed, putting my sheets on my bed as I had washed them earlier. I cover Tech Sports on Instagram. I already had a final score post up for that game. And my dad yells, "Get in here." Miami just fumbled the ball. And I'm like, what? Because I had ESPN Gamecast open and the win percentage was 99.9. I thought we were done. So, but Miami will probably beat us. NC State, that's the last home game of the year, a Thursday night game. And Tech does good under the lights, you know.
I will say this. If you do lose to Georgia State, I would just post a meme first.
I jump off. I might jump off Tech Tower if we lose.
No, I would post the fucking meme where it's like the guy in the news and just basically like Tennessee's like first time, because remember.
No,
Georgia
I have a meme where it's the Ramblin' Rex sinking into the ocean and it says "I want to die." And that's my go-to when we have an embarrassing loss. I think I did that against NIU in 21. And then Bowling Green last year. I don't think we'll lose to Georgia State. That is a big trap game, and I'm a little worried about it simply because there are some Tech players on the roster, former Tech players, mainly Zach Gibson at quarterback. But at the end of the day, it's still Zach Gibson, who is the worst Tech quarterback I think I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But he will have a chip on his shoulder wanting to get revenge. There's also Kenyatta Watson, who's a defensive back. But they have a new head coach. I think Brent Key will probably be really, really mindful of what happened last year against Bowling Green. And also the fact that it's Georgia State, and they'll bounce back.
Yeah. So,
I think we'll go 6-6.
Double Dan, let's move along. Who do you think's gonna win the conference, and who do you think's gonna be doo-doo?
Conference wise,
and make it quick because Red has to go. Red has to go next.
I almost got to go myself, so I'm gonna keep this quick. And it's hard because the ACC is honestly deep this year. I'm gonna say, and this isn't really a wild card because they dominated the conference so much, but I'm gonna say Clemson does it this year. I think FSU, they return too little offensive production. FSU will still be good, but I think they'll go 9-3 or 10-2. Miami, people are saying Miami will go 11-1, which is ridiculous. They'll go 8-4 or 9-3. I think Clemson does it this year.
Alrighty, and who do you think is going to be the worst team?
Worst team in the conference?
Yeah.
Dang, there's 17 teams in the conference. I have to think about that. So people are saying they're going to be better this. I'm thinking either Pitt or Wake Forest, and I think it might be Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And it sucks because Dave Clawson's a hell of a coach. He just doesn't have the guys this year. I mean, he was great with Sam Hartman at quarterback. I mean, he might be the best coach Wake Forest has ever had. But I think there's just not a lot of guys on that roster. They were bad last year. I think they might be the worst. And it might be Pittsburgh, although they're supposed to improve this year.
Yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your USF Season 10 champion, Double Dan.
It's not over yet, but it's basically over. I'm not going to say...
You basically have it in the bag at this point.
I really... It's amazing to me, just the success I've had since basically March Madness. Obviously, Season 8 was great, but that was more of a playoff run than anything because I didn't really win anything. I'm not going to really make any speeches or anything till Saturday because I'm busy now. I'm actually broadcasting on radio. It's really just Instagram Live with no footage and my voice. But we have a Woodward Academy Sports Network, and they have a television thing, but other guys do that at my school. And tomorrow, ESPN2 is coming to Woodward. So if y'all want to watch my high school get their ass kicked by Carrollton, turn on ESPN2 at 7:30 tomorrow. And also go to
high school
Woodward
football?
Academy. Yep, high school football. And also
I'm all over that. Let's fucking go.
And also go to Woodward Academy Sports Network on Instagram to watch me call the massacre. I will be broadcasting it.
To watch you scream and yell. Anyways, have fun.
All right, thank y'all. I'm headed out. I gotta go to sleep. Got a big day.
See ya. Yeah. Anyways, Red, just go ahead and give your team suit.
All right. Well, before I was rudely interrupted by someone already calling himself a champion before he even won it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's 500 upvotes, okay?
Yeah, I love you, Dan. All right, so the ACC, like we did say, it's pretty deep in terms of like the number of teams that could be competing for the 2 spot. Florida State, by far, is going to be, I think, the best team in the ACC, just because, they lost what's his name to graduation in the draft, but after he broke his leg last year, I forgot his name already. But they picked up DJ Uiagalelei from Oregon State, and it's basically you're not losing any production. You're not losing any production at the quarterback position there. So right away, boom, I'm going to say that. As for who they're going to have to go through, I'm also going to say Miami. Florida State's going to win the conference, I think, regardless. They're just too damn good. They're too deep. They're too loaded. There's too many things that are going their way, not to mention the motivation, like everybody's mentioning, after being humiliated last season in the Orange Bowl. I think they're going to win. But Miami's got a lot of good pieces, notably Cam Ward, that transferred from Wazoo to play quarterback for Miami this upcoming season. They also got Xavier Restrepo at wide receiver. They got a solid batch of linemen. They got a scary son of a bitch at linebacker named Francisco Mauigoa, I believe it's pronounced. And like they're a very loaded team. The question is, can Cristobal not shoot himself in the dick long enough to coach this team to a goddamn ACC championship appearance?
Yes.
We'll have
yes,
to wait and see.
Yeah, it's basically like your sugar daddy, dumb gamers, giving you money. Anyways, go on. Anyways, yeah, 2020.
In terms of like a team that's going to be shit, Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia's going to be the worst team this season. I feel like there's just nothing there. Yeah, Cal has to travel the most miles of any FBS school this season, which is incredible considering Hawaii exists. But the guy that traveled the most out of any school, that's going to hurt them. Stanford's not that far behind, but Virginia just has fucking nothing. I don't know what the fuck they even got going right now, and it's a lot of like, gross. Dark horse. Yeah, a whole lot of hoopla. Dark horse, SMU. And I'll tell you why SMU. It's not just because of the fact that, they're this, fucking golden child finally returning to Power 4 prominence where they historically belong. Doak Walkers, stomping grounds after all. It's because, unlike most Group of 5 schools that jump to a Power 5 or now Power 4 conference, this isn't like UCF, this isn't Cincinnati, this isn't any of those schools. SMU actually has a lot of talent. They are deep, especially in the skill set position. The fuck was his name at quarterback? Preston Stone lit the world on fire last season for SMU. And God, it's a murderer's row over here. Jake Bailey, Jordan Hudson, Keyshawn Smith, LJ Johnson Jr., and running back Jalen Knighton's returning as well as his number 2. It's a deep roster, and they got a lot of good pieces here, especially on defense in the secondary. They're going to establish a no-fly zone in the secondary with Isaiah Nkwuba and Jonathan McGill, Cale Sanders Jr. The only question marks I have is just can the offensive line block against these ACC attacks? And I mean, we'll get a good test. They got to play. Who the fuck do they got to play? Florida State, September 28th. So that'll be the true test for SMU, and it'll be a good measuring stick because you got them coming in. It's probably one of the most dominant Group of 5 teams outside of Tulane and Boise State coming into the ACC, white hot. And I think they're going to be. I don't know. I'm not saying dark horse in the sense, they could make the title game. I'm saying dark horse in the sense they're going to be a hell of a disruptor this season for any team that goes against them. Keep in mind, they play, Florida State. That's their toughest opponent. They got a baby soft schedule. I don't see Miami. I don't see NC State. I don't see Louisville. Actually, I do see Louisville. They play Louisville.
You see Louisville.
In Louisville. Yeah, they got Florida State at home, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a home field advantage there. But outside of Louisville and Florida State, they ain't playing Clemson. They ain't playing Miami. They sure as shit ain't playing North Carolina. So, yeah, if there's a team that could sneak its way into the conversation, sure, SMU. And if they beat one of those games, they win one of those 2 games against Louisville or Florida State, they're in the conversation for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, let's now move on to the Big 12, and we're going reverse order. So, Red, you'll go first. Wait, hold on, Akbar.
Let me just quickly pull up the rankings for what Big 12 teams are at top.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
we got Utah. Utah is the highest at 12. Oklahoma State at 17. Kansas State at 18. Arizona at 21. Kansas at 22. That's it. Utah.
All right.
Quite surprising.
Well, it's not really surprising. They're going to have Ken Rising back this season over there in Utah. By and large, when he's healthy and he's playing, Utah is damn near unstoppable. They didn't get to a Rose Bowl for no goddamn reason, right? So right away, they are obviously the favorites to win the conference. And this new Big 12, this brand new Big 12, who is fighting currently to have the 3rd seat at the table with the ACC now, that's been totally redone. There's no more Texas. There's no more Oklahoma. You get OK State. You get A&M. You get Baylor and all these other schools. The question is, who's going to dance with them in Dallas come December? And I'm going to say it's Oklahoma State. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Number one, Brendan Presley. He is really goddamn good at wide receiver for them. Of course, you can't talk about Oklahoma State without talking about Ollie Gordon. He's really fucking good at running back, probably one of the top running backs in the country. Heisman candidate, maybe. You know, you can throw that in there for sure. And then they got a couple of solid offensive linemen with Joe Mikulski, Dalton Cooper. So, like, you could easily see that there. Now, in terms of the worst teams, I gave UC a lot of credit for trying to rebuild and restart after Luke Fickell left at the head coaching position for Cincinnati. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. I'm optimistic they'll go 6-6, but they got a tough schedule. I'm going to say they're going to tie with BYU and Houston near the bottom. They're going to be near the bottom with BYU and Houston. I think it's going to be one of those three teams. I can't decide which one, honestly. But if you want to know a team that's honestly going to be due, it's Kansas. They're my dark horse. Jalen Daniels is why. He is going to be. I think he's going to be better than Cam Rising. What they did against Oklahoma last year, nothing short. Sorry, I thought you had it coming. Nothing short of
against the Oklahoma Sooners that game. They freaking did not call stuff. I'm sorry. I'm going to straight up say right now.
Go off, King. Go off. Yeah, I mean, they are the ultimate disruptor, I think. People are going to see them coming now. And there's a lot about Kansas that is kind of predictable. Again, they got their biggest weapon on offense. Again, it's Jalen Daniels. But, you got Luke Grimm and Lawrence Arnold coming back, senior wide receivers. You got Devin Neal also back at running back. Those are the four of their biggest pieces of offensive production right there. Defense is mostly intact. I don't see how they can't do it. Now, it's going to come down to a couple of things, and mainly it's just really going to come down to scheduling. They're going to have a tough test against West Virginia, who is also one of the top ranked, who's also back up there in the Big 12 as potentially a contender. But they don't play Oklahoma State, and they play Kansas State. So West Virginia, Kansas State, those are going to be your litmus test games right then and there. They don't have any other big games against anybody that could constitute like an incredibly big matchup besides, Farmageddon against Iowa State. Actually, no, that's Kansas State.
That's Kansas State versus Iowa State.
Well, I get the two mixed up. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Frank, say who you think's gonna win, and other than wait.
I'm sorry. I don't like to interrupt, but one more thing. Colorado is fucked.
Yeah.
Prime is absolutely fucked. There is no prime. It was all smoke and mirrors. They are fucking fucked. Go on.
Yeah. Colorado is not looking great. For the Big 12. This is the conference I'm actually really excited for because I think that Big 12 used to be regarded as one of the bottom schools of the Power 5. Everybody was saying Texas, Oklahoma need to get out of there because they were just the two biggest schools and everybody else was getting bummed down. But now with all of the teams being added in, the talent they now have, this Big 12 is pretty exciting. So I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm going to go with the obvious pick for a winner. It's going to be Utah. They're just really good. I expect them to make a really good run in the playoffs. Regardless of winning the Big 12, I expect them to do well in the CFP. Utah is just really strong. Cam Rising coming back, and that team is basically not changed a lot from last season. They're still really good. They're on top. They're going to be the best. As for my bottom school, I think it's either going to be I like the 3 that Red mentioned, but I think I'm gonna have Houston be my bottom school. They're also rebuilding as it is. They have a lot of stuff they still need to go through and fix up. So I see Houston being that. My underdog school the underdog school. I'm gonna go with West Virginia. It's a little bit of a scary schedule. It's a really scary schedule, so it's definitely something that could bite me in the butt. But West Virginia looks really experienced, really good. They look tough to play, and I feel like it's a team invigorated and ready to go on a deep run. I want to say this though. I don't know. I know the players are coming back, but I do not get why people are still hyping up this Arizona squad. I do not get it at all. I don't get it.
Your favorite college.
This should be ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's
bias
a broken
is so
program. I'm
thick.
sorry. It's a broken program. And so everybody's saying that, because all of these stars are coming back, it's going to be fine. It's not. It's a broken program.
Buddy, they went 10-3 last year. Your ass went 3-9. How the fuck are they broken?
The coach fucked off to Washington.
Yeah, every coach fucked off.
Coach went on CBS and said, "I'm
You
going to
know
reach
what?
out
How
to
the
Arizona." A
fuck
week
is that
later,
the
he
fault
signed
of
the contract with
Arizona?
Washington.
How is that? Herm Edwards was your fucking coach, and he was fired in the end zone. For God's sake, how in the fucking hell? I normally shut the fuck up when there's other people talking, but I gotta stop you there, man. Arizona is not a broken program. Your ass is a broken program.
They're
The Devils
overrated.
are their own devil.
Overrated.
This is turning into Jerry Springer.
They're rated. I think they're rated just about right where they need to be. They're projected to go. What the fuck? Probably even another 9-4, 10-3 season. Meanwhile, your ass is just above BYU in terms of suckitude. Like, man, I hate to shit on your parade, but the parade already started. It was shit. You know what I mean? Like, you got piss colors for a reason. You got piss because it's what apparently your team has been drinking, whether it's so bad, and they've been getting beat up so hard, their blood is on their jerseys 24/7. I'm ruthless, man. I'm ruthless. I like you. You're a good guy. Your team is awful. I'm just.
It's been rough.
Akbar, if it was truly Jerry
Sorry,
Springer,
I went a little unhinged there.
Yeah, and Akbar, if it was truly Jerry Springer, we would have a woman popping her titties out. For
Well, this is YouTube, so that's
Yeah,
not
this
happening.
is
And I'm a taken minute, so I don't need that.
Yeah,
That's still the funniest scene from Austin Powers to me.
Yeah, it's my turn. Oh, okay.
Springer.
Well, I'm gonna be a little spicy. I'm going
That
with.
wasn't already spicy enough.
Well, it was just you. It was just you
Frank,
burning the living shit out of Frank.
Frank, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, but to be fair, you're a Sun Devils fan. You're used to the heat, so I figured you'd take it like a man. So it's all good.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Right.
Other than their question at quarterback, I say it's gonna be close, but I say Kansas State, because their defense might be really, really good and everything, as well as their offensive line and all that stuff. Plus, they have a pretty good schedule. Not bad, but not bad as they're gonna be total. Yeah, it's 50-50.
Yeah, I don't get really Oklahoma State to deal with.
Yeah, they have Oklahoma State. That's their toughest program. That's their toughest matchup.
Oklahoma State ain't playing Utah. They are playing West Virginia in Morgantown. That could be a little bit of a hiccup there.
Alrighty, let me just change it.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. No, if you look at their bottom four, their last 4 games is the one where they can propel themselves above, because they face Houston, then ASU, then Cincinnati, then Iowa State.
And Iowa State's middle of the road this year. So I mean, your pick. I'm saying your pick is valid. I'm only disagreeing with the toughness of the schedule, because I wouldn't say it's not diaper soft. It's got a few thorns in there. Playing in West Virginia, presumably on a Saturday night in Morgantown, That's going to be a tough ass environment for them. That's going to be a real good test.
Exactly. Teams that
They nearly beat Texas last year. They freaking overtime. They only had 3 yards to get a freaking touchdown. 4 downs, they couldn't get it. Why did they even go for it on 4th down? They could have just simply take the points. Just go to second overtime. But no. I had to freaking watch that in the salt grass because I was waiting to get an autograph with it was a convention. I was at a convention.
The Romans said it best, man. Fortune favors the bold, and the bold fucking can get your ass sometimes.
Are you sure that wasn't Matt Damon? Matt Damon.
No, Matt Damon.
Stop making fun of Matt Damon because of that crypto ad.
Yeah, no, Akbar. Matt Damon. Mess. The only thing that Matt Damon says is Matt Damon.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. That's all comes out of his mouth, other than Bostonian language.
That movie. That's still too funny.
Team that's gonna be dog shit. I will say this: is put up or shut the fuck up for Baylor. Or like I feel like Baylor has to, because I feel like you look at 2021 and how good they were. You should expect more from that, but they have just fallen off pretty badly. And if that continues downhill, their head coach is axed. And for my dark horse, this is going to be a little surprising. I'm going to say the Knights of UCF.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
Gus
that.
Malzahn. Plus, they got Washington State's quarterback.
UCF is always a team that like nobody takes seriously until it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's for national title stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Akbar.
Okay. Well,
I swear to
looking
God,
through the
I will
list.
kill you, you dumb fly. Sorry.
Oh, that's what. Okay,
Got him.
that's what he meant.
Nice. Okay, so for best team, I'm just gonna kind of go with the rankings, and I'm gonna say they put Utah as the highest. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Utah.
Okay.
As for the worst one, I don't know. I mean, it's either a tie between my alma mater I graduated from at Houston or Baylor. It's gonna be one of those two.
Yeah.
Especially as an OU fan, because it's just like, oh, we need that win on Houston. Because I'm trying to remember who does OU start off playing. Never mind, we'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, Houston's one of their opponents, and it's just like, but honestly, Houston just no. It's Houston or Baylor. I can't decide between those two.
All right, well, I'll decide for you. Let's see. Baylor, they got to play Air Force, who is a sneaky good group of 5 team. Just fucking saying. That's going to be a loss.
Yeah, it is.
Iowa State, that's going to be a loss. Oklahoma State, TCU, West Virginia. Kansas is the closer. I don't know, man. I think they're fucked.
No, Houston's more fucked. Houston's more fucked.
Okay, who are they fucking playing?
Houston plays Oklahoma week 2.
Ooh.
And then they have to play. They have to play in a row: Kansas, Utah, Kansas State, Arizona.
Oh yeah, they're fucked. They're black. They're fucking black.com fucked.
Are they all on the road? No, I don't think those are all on the road. No, those are no. There's no.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if they're on the road or at home. They're going to get their asses whipped on the road. They're going to get their asses whipped at home. It don't matter. They're fucked.
You better live up your butthole, Houston.
Dear Lord. They also got to play UNLV.
Like I said, they're so
Week 1, they got to play UNLV, and that's another really good group of 5 team. They made the Mountain West title game last year. Holy shit.
It's a rebuilding year for them. More
like a demolition year.
They'll probably get 1 or 2 wins, but man, that schedule, that does not sound good. Not the worst schedule that any team has this year. There's another Power Power 5 team that's got Power 4 team that's got even more screwed this year.
Yeah.
That we'll talk about in a bit. But as for the dark horse though, the dark horse pick, honestly, shoot, I'm gonna kind of go a bit crazy, and I am gonna say freaking. No, on second thought, I'm just gonna kind of play it a bit safe. Probably Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, probably. I give Utah the chance to win it all, but Oklahoma State, I wouldn't be too surprised if they're the ones that probably run with this conference. We definitely know that it probably isn't going to be Colorado, unless of course we all start eating our words again and somehow because that's the thing. The Big 12 plays is like shoot that isn't that. I mean the way that Colorado's playing is like.
I'm just gonna say this: like Colorado is heavily reliant on the transfer portal and not recruiting.
Yeah, that's the only way they got the roster they did last year. All but like 12 players that left the program, and Dion had to rebuild it from scratch. Let's just look at the facts here. Returning, they got a lot of players returning on defense, so that's going to help them there. They still got Travis Hunter. They got Jimmy Horn Jr. Shedeur Sanders is back for his senior year. So you got some pieces there, but you look at the returners right here. The majority of your defense is all seniors and probably NFL draft juniors. So, and they're probably going to go 4-8, 5-7, and that's not what the fuck they need. They need, especially considering they open up the season against North Dakota State, the Bison.
That's going to be a
that's crazy. That's the first.
That is the Alabama of FCS, motherfucker. You could play, South Dakota State's just about as bad. You play one of the Dakota schools, you're in for a bad day. They're not going to be. They don't have a guaranteed win until they play Baylor.
Yeah.
They don't have a guaranteed win until they play Baylor. Colorado State's going to be kind of what the fuck ever. And they got to play Utah third to last week. Oklahoma State's their finale. Like, I'm sorry. You go 6-6, it's a win. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Let's not to mention that Colorado basically has an entirely brand new coaching staff, and because they're not using recruiting, they're using the transfer portal. It's really hard to build line that way, and their line was tragic last season.
Yeah, tragic. Let's see. Is there any returning offensive linemen? No.
I hope not.
No, all new.
But who do they bring in? Is the question.
New. Your quote from Athlon Magazine: "It's going to be a circus just like last season." Unquote. Yes. For a opposing Big 12 coach. That is like. I mean, look, it's going to. I mean, look, they got to get a bowl win. If they get a bowl berth, it's progress.
That'd be great.
But you look at top 10 recruits, like high school recruits. Colorado's not on the. They got Jordan Seaton, offensive tackle, who is a 5-star rating, 22 ranked nationally. That's a great pickup. They got Cam McGill, an all-around athlete, 4-star pickup in recruiting. So, like, they've been doing some work on the recruiting side, but they got brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defensive coordinator, because their old defensive coordinator fucked up to where do you think? Not what you think. Hawaii. He went to fucking Hawaii, and they're about as dog shit as any group of 5 school. They'll be lucky to go bowling themselves.
Damn.
Anyway.
Anyways, now we got those two out of the way. Let's go to the real conference. After these commercial breaks.
Hey kids, want to see a dead body?
Yep, that's the commercial. Anyways, the Big Ten, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
it was it's either that or just do the entire BK ad.
No, let's not.
No, please not. Please not.
Okay.
I will violently protest.
I will not bow before any corporate sponsor. That is how you do product placement in a movie. That is how you do it right.
I will not die without a single fucking Cheez-It.
Okay. So to start with the conference rate, and I will also include one more because they have to be mentioned because the top 24, the top 24 of the top 25 are all in the Power 4 conferences. it's going to take a while to get used to saying that part.
I know.
But anyways, Big Ten. We've got. Would you freaking load already? Dang it! Never mind. I'll have to do it this way. Okay, we got big. Here's the Big Ten. We got number 2 Ohio State, number 3 Oregon, number 8 Penn State, number 9 Michigan, defending champs, number 23 USC, and number 25 Iowa, who still hasn't scored yet. How the heck do you not score any points in your last 2 games?
I'm
Iowa.
going to keep my mouth shut until I need to.
Hold on. Iowa. All these special teams, no offense, and no pitches. Please come here.
Okay, so who wants to start first talking about
Well, that's why you got to go first, as we're doing reverse
Yeah.
order. So
Okay.
you're up. Break it
And
down.
I think Red wants to go last anyway.
Yeah.
Yep, I do.
Okay, so what do we start off with saying about the Big Ten other than, well, in previous years, usually it was just basically like one really it's one team. It was either Ohio State or Michigan because freaking Penn State was always going to choke no matter what. And when it came to the western part of the conference, there was nobody good.
But divisions are now eliminated.
Yes, the divisions are now gone. And you've gotten some pretty steep competition in the fact that you got Oregon that's joined in, and they're looking to be very much they're definitely wanting to bounce back after last year because you lose to Washington twice, man. That's just that's painful because if you had won one or both of those, you were in the playoff.
Lost to the Huskies again, huh?
What?
Mhm.
Lost to Washington again, huh?
Yeah. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on 2 seconds. Hang on. Wait, what the heck? Why is Washington not ranked?
Because they've lost all their starters and stuff.
Yeah. Lost a lot of their starters.
They are the first team to
system.
make the national championship. And I don't know how many years to not be ranked in the top 25 preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I almost forgot to mention there was one team that really should probably be in this conference at the very least because of how much the attention they get. But we have at number 7 Notre Dame,
God's golden assholes.
Right.
which
Yeah.
again, where they're located, they would have fit perfectly in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
AK
It's weird
Hold
with
on,
Notre Dame.
Frank, aka the school that started my definition of insanity and made me into Steve Dangle / Filthy Frank hybrid.
Welcome to the rice fields, mother.
Hey, boss, can I
Okay.
have the pussy, please? Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so anyways, well now things are without divisions and with some actual added some talent for starters. Honestly, again, the conference will probably still be Ohio State's to lose. That's the thing. Ohio State's probably truly the one that everybody's going to be trying to gun for. It's the most favored, and I can't really see. I mean, I can see them easily running the table pretty well this year. That's the thing. I mean, Red, quickly run down to me. Who exactly do they have to play? Or well, actually, I could look. Wait, never mind. I can say this myself. I'll look this myself. Quickly running through the schedule here for Ohio State, at least. Let's see. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. First actual conference game, Michigan State. Then it's Iowa. Then October 20th, they have to go to Oregon. So that'll probably be their most difficult.
No, it's not the most difficult. They also got to play at Penn State.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
you also
I
have
was
to
thinking,
play-
I was thinking Oregon was probably going to be their most toughest because when they play, because that's the thing with Penn State. Whenever it's against Michigan or Ohio State, they usually always choke. They never can get over that damn threshold of beating them and then friggin' taking the dang division and then going to the playoff. Okay, and then they got Nebraska after Oregon, then Penn State, then Purdue, Northwestern Indiana, and then the game against Michigan, who obviously has been grievously wounded after winning national title, losing Harborough and like a lot of people. So again, it's amazing that they still. I don't know what. This honestly is the situation of like, why on earth did Michigan only get dropped all the way to like 9th or what was it, 9th or 8th? 9th, and Washington isn't
Yeah.
even ranked. But that one doesn't make sense for me. I would have at least thought Washington, they keep them, I don't know, somewhere in the top 10.
Can I at least say this? I just feel bad for JJ McCarthy. Like, that's just unfortunate.
Oh God, the freaking Vikings are cursed.
That's safe for an NFL thing. That's safe for an NFL
Yeah,
thing.
but hey, Frank, remember, destiny must be fulfilled. Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings.
Oh my God! I swear, if Rodgers
Okay,
injured again,
on topic. We've
Yeah, let's just stay
gotten
on topic.
barely
Come on,
halfway
come on.
through in 3 hours. Or in an hour.
Yeah.
sorry.
Good Lord.
Okay, so anyways, like I said, Ohio State's probably the top dog. That's probably no secret. Who's going to be the worst? Oh, geez, who do we got in this dang conference, man? That's the thing. Who was the worst last year?
Well,
You.
Indiana,
Purdue.
Purdue. I'm just gonna say Indiana, Purdue, gonna be calling up the rear. And as for the dark horse, I wouldn't say Oregon because it's like this season. I mean, the Big Ten this year might come down between Ohio State and Oregon. That's the thing. So who would be the actual dark horse? I'm not going to give it to Michigan because I don't think I think Michigan's going to lose a couple of. They're going to play a lot of close games, but I think they're going to lose a few. But I think the one team that might be the dark horse, that, like I said before, though, it's going to be Penn State as the dark horse. They are a pretty good program. Can they get over the line for once? Anything can happen. And I'm saying I wouldn't be too. I'd be surprised if they got over the line. But again, it's not like, oh, this is like so out of nowhere. It's like they have the talent. They've been able to compete. It's just they freaking can't seem to compete against Michigan or Ohio State when it counts. They're able to get through the rest of the season pretty darn good. So, anyways, that's my picks there for the Big Ten.
Anyways, for my pick, I think for the first time ever, the Big Ten title is going out west. And I say Oregon is going to win the Big Ten title against Ohio State, but it's going to be like very, very close by 1 point. For shit team, Illinois. And for like dark horse, I'm going to say Wisconsin for my dark horse. Anyways, Frank.
Nice. The Big Ten conference game, the Big Ten conference championship game is going to be Ohio State versus Oregon. For sure. Those are clearly the two teams that have it all together, are going to have a path to mutilate everybody in their way. That's going to clearly be the conference championship game. Who pulls it out? I don't know. Just depends on who's ready to go that day. So I'm not going to really give a top. I think it's just going to give the conference championship game, and we're going to roll from there. As for the worst team, yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go with Indiana just because they are rebuilding. Indiana will do the worst because they are rebuilding. While they do have a good coach, it's still college football. You never have the team you want your first year coaching. So I'm going to give it to Indiana. As for my dark horse, this is going to be, as for my dark horse, this is actually going to be a bit controversial, and I'm actually really surprised that I'm going to say this. But I'm going to go with USC. I don't know. USC always finds a way to make it work. And I know that they've had great quarterbacks in the past to put them that way, but I feel like they always find a way, and it's not going to be easy for them. And it's probably going to be something where USC has a good start and then they fail late in the season, but USC will probably show out in this Big Ten and show that Lincoln Riley is actually ready to play in a big conference, unlike when everybody made fun of him for running from Oklahoma, going to the Pac-12.
That still is kind of funny to me. He obviously was fleeing to avoid being embarrassed all the time in the SEC, and then immediately USC says, "Hey, guess what? We're going to the Big Ten."
Oh, also,
It would be
side
even
note before
funnier
we
is
move.
if they went to if they somehow went to the SEC. If somehow
Yeah.
USC went there, it's like, oh my gosh.
Also, last thing before passing it off to Red, I was looking at various sports websites to get all my predictions and stuff. The game, obviously the one that everybody pays attention to at the end of the year, the starting price to get in is like $400. Starting price.
Sounds about right. I'm just being straight up. It's always a fucking expensive endeavor to go to one of those games. I've never been to a Buckeye game in my life because of how goddamn expensive it is to go. But I'm going to make an honest effort this year to go to one. Just one. Won't be against Michigan. I might go to the one against Indiana. We'll see. Okay. This is my wheelhouse. So,
Michigan.
fuck you. The all said here. All of you guys made solid predictions. The bottom line when you look at the Big Ten going into 24 is this: all roads have to go through Eugene and Columbus. There is no two ways about it. Michigan could be a threat. Penn State could be a threat. USC could be a threat. But the road to a first round bye in the college football playoff is going to run through Columbus or Eugene. One of those two schools, no doubt in my mind. In terms of who I think is going to actually get the win and the first round bye in the playoff, I gotta go Ohio State, not because I'm biased, okay? I am. If you guys fucking follow me on Discord, especially on the True Core server, you know how much I'm not a fan of Brian Day. And you know damn well how, after the Oregon video, just how little I care about Chip Kelly. All right? All of that said, Ohio State went on an absolute fucking spree and took full advantage of the transfer portal. I'm going to name off some names. Quinshawn Judkins from Ole Miss. That's fucking massive right off the bat. He's one of the top. He's probably going to be a Heisman candidate running back going into this season. God, they got fucking Will Howard from Kansas State. Another massive fucking pickup here. Well, let's see. Who the fuck else did they grab on the transfer side of things? Oh, yeah, Caleb Downs from Alabama from that whole goddamn fiasco earlier with Saban retiring. The point, not to mention, they're going to have a solid fucking brick wall in front of the O-line. Emeka Ibuka is back. Carnell Tate's a great option at wide receiver. And we picked up the number 1 overall recruit in the nation and Jeremiah Smith. True fucking freshman. Straight out of high school. He's going to be starting week 1. That's pretty much been confirmed. You know, it's not every day people get the Maurice Claret hype in Columbus. That's what people are kind of comparing him to in the running back and the wide receiver position. Not to mention, besides Judkins, we got Travion Henderson back. That offensive attack, you put that against any goddamn team in college football, and you are going to have a bad day. No freaking doubt. And then you only replace 2 starters on defense, and those 2 starters that are being replaced with Caleb Downs and Cody Simon. Everybody else is back. You know the reason why I'm picking Ohio State over Oregon? Fuck. The reason why my camera couldn't handle this. The reason why I'm picking Ohio State over Oregon? Defense. Straight up. Oregon, that is their kryptonite. They are very much a very effective offense. Again, they have probably who will win the Heisman in Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. Tez Johnson, the reception leader. Fucking Jordan James, Noah Williams Jr. is a great option there. Terrence Ferguson's a great tight end. Trayshawn Holden, the transfer from I think it was A&M. So they got weapons, but defense there is like
There's nothing.
There's a lot. There's not nothing there. Don't get me wrong. This is probably the best defense they've ever had, but there's a lot that needs to gel. A lot that needs to gel. 4 returning starters, great. Granted, 4 returning starters are really good. You know, Jordan Birch, Jeffrey Bassa, Jaleel Florence, Tysheem Johnson. They're great, but that defense is not as complete as the Ohio State team is. They don't have as much experience on that side of the ball. And when you're going to get up against a team that has an offensive attack that includes Igbokwe, fucking Tate, Henderson, Judkins, Will Howard, I do not give a fuck who your team is. You better have a goddamn defense that can stop that, and I don't think Oregon does. So that's my pick. That's my educated pick. The only way Ohio State doesn't make the Big Ten title game is if Chip Kelly fucks it up. Period. End of subject. I don't like the fucker. I don't like Ryan Day. But if the only way we're going to lose is if one of those two blow it.
I mean, the only way you're not going to make it to the Big Ten if one of those two decided to start 2 tight ends. Anyways, moving on. yeah.
Right there, buddy. Right there. Okay. Now, moving on to who I think is going to be the absolute bottom of the barrel here. I'm giving Northwestern a lot of credit for their performance last season. They're probably going to be near the bottom. I don't think they will be the bottom. I think Purdue is going to be the bottom. And it's going to come down to a couple of factors for Purdue. Okay, so it's between Northwestern and Purdue, in my opinion. And the main reason why I'm going with Purdue is their schedule is not nearly as brutal. They got Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Washington. Okay, probably 5 losses right there. The option is still there for them to make a bowl game, though. Purdue, if I can find them real quick. Where was their schedule? And there we go. Purdue, they play. Let's see. Notre Dame, second week. Notre Dame. Wisconsin, at Wisconsin. That will be probably a loss. Oregon, might be at home, but they still got to play Oregon. Ohio State, and Penn State on top of other games against, let's see here, Oregon State and Illinois. And I think Illinois is going to be actually a little bit improved this year compared to them. So I'm going to say Purdue, but Northwestern's going to need to show me something. And then dark horse, if there is a team that could be a disruptor, because I'm sure as shit not going to take the fucking Hawkeyes. Okay? Iowa is by miles and miles, probably has the best defense in the Big Ten. That's it. It's got a really good, they got a great, pretty wall, big, beautiful wall. Nobody can get around it.
Their puncher is gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that wall collapses over time. I'm going to say Rutgers. That sounds bad. Rutgers. And I'm going to give you one good reason why Rutgers is going to be a problem. Their running back. What the fuck was his name again? Kyle Munagai. Top rusher in the Big Ten last season. He ran for over 1,000 yards. He can run miles around this team. Quarterback is not really the priority for Rutgers right now. They're going to be a run-first team, and with a lot of returning starters on their offensive line, they're going to cause some problems. And their defense is pretty good, too. I mean, whatever the fuck Ray Shiano's doing in Rutgers right now, hats off to him. It's working. They need the bottom of the barrel number.
Part of me really regrets just getting rid of Greg Schiano, but part of me also don't because we got Josh Heupel at the end. And
you grow by shedding, you know?
Yeah, you grow up by shedding. Anyways, let's go to the greatest conference of all time, the SEC.
It just means more. More money.
More migraines. That's what it means.
Okay, so let's just go throughout because obviously, if anything, this is the conference that has the most people that just have the absolute. Red, you can say it best because I don't want to be cursing, but why exactly does everybody? I mean, does like all the pollsters and all that stuff love the SEC?
Oh, they all got a hard on for them, man.
No,
Thank you.
no,
That
no.
was
all
I
got a
They
know
fucking
what
don't.
it
They
is.
bone.
don't.
I
They don't
know
have.
what
They
it
don't
is.
have NFL teams.
I know what they do. They got a hot took on that thing. Like, oh.
Oh, did you hear that? Never
They
mind.
don't have NFL teams.
No, we're not going off topic. Okay.
Yeah,
is
no,
Okay, let's go through the rankings here because we got number 1 Georgia, number 4 Texas,
course.
number 5 Alabama, number 6 Ole Miss, number 11 Missouri, number 13 LSU, number 15 Tennessee, number 16 Oklahoma, and number 20 Texas A&M. And you want to know what's even crazier about saying that? Holy shit, Florida's schedule. Oh my God.
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now.
Hey,
What
let's see.
do you mean page not
Here's
found?
the teams that are ranked that Florida's gonna have to play. They're gonna have to play ranked Miami, ranked A&M, ranked Tennessee, ranked Georgia, ranked Texas, ranked LSU, ranked Ole Miss, Florida State. How many ranked teams is that now? What was that? 7 or 8?
8,
You're
probably.
kidding.
They have to play
I-
8 ranked teams.
Miami,
The old,
Tennessee, Georgia.
that is just oh my God.
5 of them come at the end of their schedule.
Because they got fucked.
Bruh.
This is like this is like what happened to Missouri and Arkansas when they played the COVID season when they got like who their extra games were. Basically, even though Missouri did beat LSU, but it was basically the SEC shorts. Hi, why is there a priest there? No reason. Florida got absolutely ruined. This is going to be one of their worst years because I don't see Florida bouncing back. Like I don't see them being able to be competitive. Like here's the thing: they only needed to win 1 game last season. They had 3 straight, or 4 straight. What was it? Who was that? Okay, they lost to Missouri. They lost to Missouri. Oh crap!
Florida State.
I'll
I know,
look it
Florida
up.
State-
I'll look it up.
Who did they have between the Missouri and Florida State game?
They
Nobody. They lost to Missouri and Florida State back to back.
No, they lost to Arkansas. They lost to LSU. They lost to Missouri, and they lost to Florida State.
They lost
And they
5
also
straight
lost
at
to
the end of the year.
Georgia. And also Georgia and Jacksonville. So
Oh no! Wait, hang
Let
on.
me-
I can look back for a second. It was like the last
But-
3 weeks or something. It
But
was
knowing
they lost to Arkansas. All they had to do was they had like 3 more weeks. LSU, Missouri, Florida State. Nope, and nope.
yeah,
Really, honestly,
the-
Arkansas they should have won that game and they would have been bowl eligible. That's just insane.
Yeah.
To think about. The fact of the matter is, Florida, they are if they somehow pull off even a winning season, I will be freaking amazed.
I will be pissed off if they pull off a winning season because I
it
want
would be at
Florida
Tennessee's
to-
expense, wouldn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
my!
Yeah, because I call Florida the Jonestown of college football. If you
Oh.
don't know.
Okay. Let's move the fuck on.
Move
now.
ahead.
So,
Alrighty.
all right,
Fred,
let me
first.
go through with this shit first off. I don't care who you are. And just like in the Big Ten, it's pretty goddamn obvious. The road runs through Atlanta, and by Atlanta, I mean Georgia. So the Bulldogs are going to win the SEC championship. The question is, who's going to dance with them? And I'm going to say Ole Miss is going to dance with them. I know a lot of people are really bullish on Texas. I know people are really hyping up about Texas. Here's the problem with Texas. Okay, everyone gets on and on and on about Texas, like, oh, they're so back. You know, we're fucking Texas and we're back. Yeah, they kind of gotta play Michigan week 2. That's gonna be their first real big test there. They got the Red River rivalry against Oklahoma. Obvious. They already got to play Georgia in October. They also got to play A&M as their last game of the season. I guarantee you they're going to lose 2 of those games. They're going to lose to Georgia. They may or may not lose to Michigan, depending on what the outcome is over there and how well they're doing. And they're probably going to lose to A&M. And it would not surprise me if a team like Kentucky tripped them up along the way. I don't care how good Quinn Ewers is. He's really goddamn good. I know nationally they're projected to be 4th in the nation, but their defense has a lot of holes. Their defense has a whole lot of holes, and the Big 12 was not known for their great defenses. You know, they got some great options, but they have all new wide receivers starting this year. They got Jadon Blue, that's their best option at running back, which he's fine, but he's not world beaten. They got a great offensive line up front, but I just don't fucking see what I don't see them making it to Atlanta. And the reason why I'm picking Ole Miss is, in my opinion, Ole Miss has more consistency across the board. First off, Trey Harris and Jordan Watkins on wide receiver. Jackson Dart is a far superior quarterback to Quinn Ewers, and I will fucking die on that hill. They also got Ulysses Bentley the fourth to replace Judkins at running back, who transferred to Ohio State, like I mentioned earlier. And they got it shut down secondary in John Saunders Jr. and Trey Washington. So that is amazing for a team right there, that it's a team that Kiffin's put together. And you look at their schedule, it's honestly not that bad compared to other teams. Their toughest opponent's Georgia. Duh.
Yeah, but
They got Oklahoma, but it's Oklahoma at home. It's the key difference there. And then they got Death Valley.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Georgia. They got Georgia at home.
Yeah.
Anyways, Akbar, you have a question?
I was just gonna quickly say this before we it gets here. Let's just quickly get this one right out of the way. Like, I think we can all four of us can easily quickly agree who's gonna be the worst in the conference. Vanderbilt.
Oh, Vanderbilt! You fucking kidding me?
I was gonna say a different answer.
What the fuck were you gonna say?
Oh, we'll get back to you on that one, because I don't know. Wow.
Okay. Well, we already know it's Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
Billy's a moron, so we'll just ignore his opinion.
Red.
Let's just move on.
Red, there's something else I wanted to add too. When you were talking about Texas, we have Texas and Oklahoma joining from the Big 12. Now, here's the thing. I think Brent Venables has been doing a better job in terms of like building the defense to more of a SEC standard than perhaps Texas.
Sure. It's just not there yet.
That's the thing. I forget who said this. I heard this. I was hearing about this when people were talking. Some folks like a few weeks ago were talking about like Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC. The thing is, these two teams are not used to the constant back and forth of having to play this sort of level of competition like they did in the Big 12. Because the Big 12, maybe you would be having like a 2 or 3 weeks straight of just playing kind of like dregs almost at a point in the conference. And now you're having
nonstop shootout city in the West. I get it.
Yes, nonstop. You're going to have to play like Georgia, then Ole Miss, then LSU, then Alabama. Like, if you have to play all four of those guys in a row, that is going to be really difficult to pull it off, as opposed to, say, someone like Georgia doing that, which has been doing this for decades. They are used to the whole fact that, like, every week it's like, okay, we got to prepare here, man. Like, every week, this isn't like this game we can take a bit of a rest unless it's Vanderbilt.
Well, look, let me just say that's a good point. It's a really good point, but let me just follow up on your point by saying this. In no universe, in my opinion, do I think that a team from the Big 12 can beat a team from the SEC week in, week out. I don't care who the fuck you are. Texas did beat Alabama last year, but remember the week after they played Alabama nearly lost to South Florida. They were a fucking mess early in the season. Once they got it together.
In Alabama's defense, that game was terrible.
It was terrible, but
the weather conditions were just crap.
I'm aware of that, but you got to be able to play through bullshit like that at this level. So the point that I'm trying to make is this: Texas, they'll win some of these games. Hell, it'll be a tough fight when they play. They do play Georgia, I said, right?
Yeah, they play Georgia.
Yeah, they play Georgia. So it's going to be a tough fight against Georgia, and they could win. But they're not going to win all of their games. I think the SEC is going to be a bigger bloodbath than people are kind of already predicting. I do not see, other than Georgia, any team making it to Atlanta with just a one loss. They might have 2 lost teams playing against Georgia, Atlanta. But I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't see how any other team can run the table besides Georgia, honestly. But for a dark horse, I'll tell you one team that I think could sneak in and cause a lot of hell, and it's Mizzou. It's gotta be Mizzou. It has to be. And I'll tell you why. I don't care if Ohio State was depleted. That Cotton Bowl performance said a lot to me about the state of this team. Not to mention, they got all their fucking weapons back. They got Brady Cook back at quarterback, Theo East Jr., Mookie Cooper, Luther Burton III, all great options at wide receiver. You got Marcus Carroll Sr. coming in to take over him off the rock. You got a couple of holes in the offensive line that need to be filled, but Brett Norfleet will be a good dump-off option at tight end. A lot of great options on defense. It's going to all come down to how good Brady Cook plays this season against this tougher schedule. They don't have a tough opponent until they play in A&M in College Station in October. They got a game against Auburn at home. They got to go to Alabama. But that's really it. Their schedule is kind of soft compared to some of these others that we're seeing from the top dogs. I could easily see them sneaking past Ole Miss or Alabama or Texas and squeaking their way into Atlanta just based on the strength of their SEC schedule.
If I recall reading it right, Missouri only has to play 3 ranked teams. They have to play A&M, Oklahoma, and Alabama. They have to play. They have to go to Bryant Denny for Alabama though. So that's
it. They got to play Auburn at home, and they do got Boston College, who could be a sneaky good team in the ACC, as we talked about earlier. They got to go to South Carolina. They got to go to Mississippi State, but their home finale is against Arkansas at home. So like the pieces are there. It's honest to God. It's a team filled with veterans. It's they just need a little bit more depth, but like they genuinely could make a deep run this season. Definitely playoff contention worthy. That's for damn sure. I think where they're at right now in the rankings is not. They're going to finish higher in the rankings at the end of the season. I think they're really goddamn good. They showed me something in the Cotton Bowl. They really did, and it put them on the radar for me, and they have not gone off of it. That's all I got.
You said Boston College was going to be sneaky good, but remember, this is the team that hired Bill O'Brien as their head coach.
And I picked them as the
Bill O'Brien also brought Penn State out of their near death penalty era back to prominence.
Oh yeah, but he set the road for James Franklin.
James Franklin has been there for nearly 10 years, and there's a reason why. It's not just because he's not been there because he can beat Ohio State and Michigan. He's there because he wins 9 or 10 games a season.
Yeah, he did it with.
And at a certain point, after 10 years, you can't say, "Well, you're only here because Bill O'Brien set the table." No, he's there because he fucking earned it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I guess Penn State's got is kind of settled in the fact that we're probably not gonna win the conference and all that stuff, as opposed to A&M fans, which were like
kind of overlooks Penn State a lot.
Yeah.
If we can circle back to Penn State for a second, just briefly, I'll just say this: it's really all going to come down to if Drew Allar at quarterback improved or not. If he improved, they might actually win a game against Ohio State because they do play them this year at home. If he didn't improve, it's going to be another disappointing year.
Yes, as a kitten is out there.
Yeah.
Frank, give us your prediction.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here's one thing. I'm gonna put just randomly off topic, and I'm gonna get to my picks. I was just looking because we were talking about it. Mizzou plays 4 non-conference opponents.
Yep.
They all do.
I thought it was 3. Maybe I'm just used to
Wait, hold on.
what I see, but I thought it was just 3.
4
I saw 4.
They have to play at UAS.
Yeah, they have to play the hockey school. Anyway, so I'm going to make my picks quick because you guys covered a lot, and this is clearly your passion. Georgia is the obvious tough team to play. Vanderbilt's obviously the shitty team. And my dark horse, I've been going through a lot. I'll go with LSU just for a slight, or actually, no, I'll go on the Missouri bandwagon. I'll go Missouri bandwagon. Let's do it.
Akbar, you after you.
Okay then, and Frank, obviously, we all of us but Billy apparently agree that Vanderbilt will be, as usual, the worst team in the conference. Now, quick question, Billy, are you saying worst team overall record, or are you talking about in conference? Because in conference, Vanderbilt might not even get one win.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
All right. Well, I'm an OU guy, but I am not going. I learned my lesson from last year after the Red River game. I got too greedy. I was thinking after beating Texas like that, I was like, oh my God, we might run the table. It's like, and then Kansas again. Though Kansas and Ohio State, the freaking refs were out to get them. I'm not. I'm
Get
like
on with it.
Billy, after you guys threw the pole into the river or something, man, Alabama fans were probably shouting it was pass interference or some crap.
Yeah, but they like to complain at everything. Anyways,
Get on with it.
Sorry. Okay, so I won't try to take too long, but basically, again, I think nobody can can doubt this one. It's going to be probably Georgia. That'll be the top team. And Kirby Smart's going to go on a revenge tour because he got denied a three-peat and all that stuff. And did Georgia really lose much? That's the thing. Does Georgia still have Brock Bowers?
No, he got drafted.
Oh, he got drafted.
Okay, well, shoot, I forgot. I didn't realize that. I was thinking
We haven't really gone in depth on Georgia, so let me just kind of give you the brief rundown. They're loaded on offense. Pretty much damn near everybody is back that was there last year except their center and their running back. They got Carson Beck at quarterback, Oscar Phelps at tight end, Ra Thomas, Dominic Lovett, and Dylan Bell at your receiving core. Trevor Etienne comes in at running back as a junior. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen are back. The only one that's not back is the center. And then, 5 weapons on defense every time.
Okay. So, yeah, like I said, Georgia, they're going to be playing absolutely pissed for being denied from the playoffs last year and all that stuff. And nothing much has truly changed about that team. So I honestly can't see them really. Some teams will probably play them tough. That's no doubt on that. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia goes undefeated, wins the SEC championship, and then is like the 1 seed in the freaking playoff. Mm-hmm. The dark horse, on the other hand, again, Darth Mizzou. Thank you, Matt Mitchell for that that gag. Man, I've seen some Missouri fans embracing that, but yeah, Missouri probably is the dark horse because they've gotten most of that same team back that they had last year. They played pretty good. They started off a little slow though, apparently.
That's what I wanted you to say.
If I recall correctly, like their first 3 games, which weren't conference, they won only by like a combined total of 14 points. Like they had that close one against Kansas State. They didn't really play too great against like whoever else they were playing. But the thing is, Missouri's got one of the easiest schedules in the conference because again, the only ranked teams they have to play is they have to go to Kyle Field for A&M, they have to go to Bryant-Denny for Alabama, and then they host Oklahoma. That being said, though, who knows what kind of A&M team we're going to get this year, and who knows what kind of Alabama team we're going to get this year, because we might be dealing with an Alabama team that is pretty weakened and all that stuff. And yeah, you're going to be playing Alabama. That's going to be really tough, obviously. But this isn't Nick Saban Alabama anymore. It's the start of a new era, and they are obviously looking a little weak. So everybody's going to be wanting to try to jump on Alabama to get some revenge on the evil empire after almost a decade. I mean, after a decade and a half of being absolutely made into. Hell with it, I'm going to curse. Making everyone their bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got Missouri, but I want to quickly say about my team, Oklahoma. They got one of they don't have. It's not as tough as Florida, but man, we got Temple, Houston, and Tulane starting off. That's not too bad. We host all of them. But then September 21st, our first true SEC matchup is going to be against Tennessee.
We're going to kick your ass.
Hey, we're playing at Oklahoma, though. That's the thing. But here's the thing. Both of our teams, our starting quarterbacks are basically new blood. We got Jackson Arnold here in Oklahoma, and you got what's his name?
Nico Alavara.
Basically, both of them are basically kind of in the same situation. They got a lot going for them, and hopefully, of course, Jackson had trouble in that game against Arizona, but honestly, looking back, didn't like a lot of Oklahoma players not show up for that one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought Arizona was thinking Oklahoma was, oh, they're just basically an ASU ripoff. Anyways, that's my point. Well, I'm gonna disagree on all of you guys. Obviously,
Let's hear it.
I think Ole Miss is gonna win the SEC.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not a shocker. It's not like an ultimate shocker because obviously they're going to play really high and they're going to do well. But
wait, what's Ole
Georgia?
Miss's schedule? Hang on, let me. Man.
Let's look at Ole Miss's schedule.
Okay, let's see. Aside from Furman and number 12 Furman in the FCS, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia. Wow, they didn't even play conference for 4 weeks. But then they got Kentucky. They go to South Carolina. Their biggest challenge will be at LSU, being at Death Valley against LSU. Then they host Oklahoma, then Arkansas. Then they have to host Georgia. Then go to the Swamp, and then it's hosting Mississippi State for the Egg Bowl.
That's a pretty good schedule.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, they only got to play 3 ranked teams too. They have to play LSU, Oklahoma, and Georgia, and they get to host 2.
And that Oklahoma game, yeah.
And that even though we lost the greatest rivalry, Ole Miss versus Vanderbilt.
Where's my Vandy game? How dare you demean the Alltel Wireless Game of the Week on Lincoln Financial Sports?
Yeah. Shit team. I'm just going to straight up say this. I think Sam Pittman is done in Arkansas.
You know, I was thinking you were going to say Arkansas. I really thought you were going to be saying the Hogs. When you said it wasn't Vanderbilt, I was like, it's the Hogs then. He's picking the Hogs.
Part of me really wanted to go with like a 3-way tie between Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. But
Oklahoma State is one of their non-conference games. Ooh.
Who?
Yeah.
Arkansas plays Oklahoma State in Oklahoma State week 2.
Yep.
Ooh.
Plus they hired their coach. Plus, guess who their offensive coordinator is?
Family member?
The neck brace.
Huh?
Offensive coordinator.
Bobby Petrino.
Oh, right.
You're right. I forgot he came back.
Freaking A&M was shouting
that.
at Arkansas saying, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
No, they were laughing their ass off.
Arkansas. Oh, wow. Actually, you know what? Billy might have a good point here because not only do they have Oklahoma State as their non-conference, they'll play A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and Mizzou. That's really tough.
That's
dark horse. Fuck it. I'm just going to be straight up fucking biased. Tennessee, obviously.
Go ahead.
Tennessee.
You're always honest with yourself.
That's not a bad dark horse.
I was honest with myself about Oklahoma. I honestly think Oklahoma might be able to only squeeze out 6 wins.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I feel like Tennessee has like weapons for Nico. Like, you got that deep ass wide receiving core. You got like Dylan Sampson is a beast at running back. You got a pretty good offensive line, helmed by Cooper Maid. You got James Pierce on the defensive with one of the most underrated front sevens of all time. Red, I know you're yawning because you're getting bored.
I'm fucking tired, bro.
Alrighty, but everybody's question is, how will Nico do, and what the fuck is the secondary? That's my 2 questions.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's just make this quick. Do you think a group of 6 member is going to make it to the playoff? And they
are required to make it to the playoffs by the rules of the playoffs. One team must.
Which team out of all of them?
Well,
Boise State.
Boise State.
Boise State. Easily the quickest pick I could possibly make there. It's Boise State. Ashton Genty is an absolute madman at running back. They're going to run all over the Mountain West. The only team that can really stop them is UNLV. And if UNLV does shut them down, then it's an open season for that last playoff spot. Could be Tulane, Could be App State, how James Madison could bounce back with their new head coach in Chesney. But I'm going to say Boise State right now based on what I've read.
Why'd you have to say Tulane? Oklahoma has to play them.
Get over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I was about to say it's just like that 6-spot reserve. That's not going to be for Notre Dame, is it? Like that's not going to
It's
be.
not
No.
going to be reserved. for
Depending
them,
on the
no.
schedule. Depending on
As
the record.
Notre Dame has to finish ranked 11th or better to pretty much guarantee a spot.
Okay,
Even
so
then,
they'll
it's
get
not a
like automatic
promise.
group of 6.
Basically, Notre Dame has to go into the playoffs with 2 losses or less.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, there's no way they can get a first round bye because they don't play in a conference.
They won't. They
They
won't.
won't.
They
won't.
so if they do
Because,
make the
because
playoffs,
it's
they gotta play
committee
all
now.
3 rounds.
It's a
Yeah.
committee now, and the committee is not.
Even if they win
It
or
was
defeat, right?
better for them in the BCS when the computer liked Notre Dame way too much, but it's a committee now, and the committee does not like Notre Dame as much as the
It's
BCS.
always been a committee though. That's the thing. Notre Dame has only been able to get in during the college football playoff era because they finished top 4 in the rankings. Period and subject. If they want to get in now, they got to contend with the fact that there are plenty of teams that could potentially be an upset spoiler to make the first round bye. Let's say a number 13 knocks off number 1 in a championship game. Well, now they're going to be in the first round bye of the playoff because they won their conference. No matter which, they could be the 4 seed of the playoff bye. They're still going to be in the bye. So let's say that happens 1 or 2 times, and Notre Dame was just barely inside the top 10. They could knock their asses out. So they got to finish. They technically you only got to finish 11th or better. You got to finish at least in the top 8 to pretty much lock it up right now.
So I've got a quick question. This is something I definitely want to discuss. Do we expect any big controversies coming to the picks, the picking the teams to play? That's the thing. Do we see? Are we going to see like another Florida State example? Well, no, not exactly. But you know what I mean. A team that really like do we see a situation like, or hell, we talk about how about this might be crazy, but how about 2 group of 6 teams going undefeated? How do you decide that?
Well, where do they finish in the rankings? That's what's going to come down
Yeah,
to.
where do they
And
finish?
strength of schedule would be the ultimate decider there. Let's say you got another situation between us. Let's say you got another team like Liberty that played an absolute soft schedule. They would not get in if, say, another group of 5 team, even with 1 loss, was ranked higher.
Thank God he was wearing
Yeah.
pants.
Why? God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be situational, but this is the one thing you're going to have less. This is what's going to be really nice. You'll have less controversy about the playoffs now than we did when it was a 4-team system because it's 12, and it's
It's
a thing
more
of
decided
now
on
it's
seeding.
like, oh, it's no longer they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. It's now they're in the playoffs. All right, you have to now go on the road at a really tough place to play whatever team that they face.
It's like
If they win
it's
that
like-
game, then it's proved. Then they prove themselves. You now have a prove it game. And so
Yeah.
I think this playoffs will be good to have those small schools finally win some prove it games, and we'll have very interesting playoffs because of it.
I was
Yeah,
going to
at
ask,
Bar-
what is the case with the playoffs? Are they going to be playing games at like the home stadiums of like the
The
teams
first-
that are
Yeah,
Yeah, so
first
whoever has the
round
higher
is
seed
round's
gonna
home
be-
stadium.
Yeah. So, like, number 5 will be playing number 12. Let's say Oregon loses to Ohio State and they're ranked 5. They'll be hosting a game in Eugene.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not,
And
so
let's-
it's not like every one of
yeah.
those games of the 12-team playoffs is going to be a bowl game.
No.
Correct.
So yeah, no.
You only go in the
first
bowl
round-
games once you
Bowl
get to the
game is
semis and
going to the
championship.
semis
Yeah.
and championship.
and still the BCS bowls that we're used to watching.
What were like the
Yeah.
6 big bowls? Let's see, it was like
The
a
new-
It's Fiesta, Rose,
Fiesta, Rose, Orange,
Cotton, Orange,
Sugar.
Sugar,
Peach.
Peach.
And
Peach, yeah, Peach.
I was honestly thinking all 6 of those should have been playoff games.
Oh, they are.
They are.
They are.
They are. So
They are,
how it's going to
basically.
break down is, it's going to rotate. So 1 year You'll have two, so it's going to kind of rotate between who's semis and who's just quarterfinals. So your opening wild card round basically is all going to be taking place at on-campus stadiums. Your quarterfinals are going to be 4 of the Big 6. Your semifinals will then take place a week after, and then the championship game is a neutral site not related to either of the Big 6.
Well, you just answered my question there, Red.
So
There
here's the actual like ones. So our quarterfinal games is the Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl is quarterfinals. Semifinals will be Orange and Cotton, and then national championship.
And keep
in
in
Atlanta,
mind, this is
Georgia.
going to take. And keep in mind, this is actually a pretty big deal because when it's the Rose Bowl's turn, they don't have the ability to force that game to happen on New Year's Day. So the Rose Bowl will be forced to be pushed back a week after New Year's on years that they're going to be forced to host the semifinal alongside the Sugar Bowl because of the way the schedule has to work.
Which
So, like
they're
you said,
already trying to fight it, which is ridiculous.
well, they can get over it because and I was going to say this is whenever I get to my fucking playoff video, what it came down to was the college football playoff said, listen, this is where we're going. This is what the future is. You can either be a part of it or you can suffer from it. And then the Rose Bowl just kind of was like, well, fuck, if we ain't going to have the top tier teams, we kind of don't have a choice. Because the Pac-12 completely dissolved. There's no Pacific Conference for them to have the traditional tie-in for anymore. It's just the Big Ten and whoever the fuck they could scrounge up at this point. And if the Big Ten is going to just send their best teams to the playoff regardless, especially with, however, nobody's going to go to the Rose Bowl over a playoff spot for the national championship. If you kick the Rose Bowl out completely, it's going to be on the same level as the Citrus and the ReliaQuest Bowl. You don't want
Liberty
that.
Bowl.
Yeah, you don't want that. So this was the fact that they still try to fight it is completely asinine. So, okay, you're telling me you are going to push all of the other bowl games up an extra week in the middle of bowl season to accommodate your fucking needs. Yeah, tough shit, Rose Bowl. If you want to survive and continue into the new era of college football, get with the program. It's once every 3 years. You don't play on New Year's Day. Sorry, traditions are dying left and right. This was a casualty of another thing.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
for sure. In terms of the tradition sort of state, I'm honestly surprised.
Old ones die, new ones rise. It's the circle of college football. The same
Yeah,
the
it's
traditions
all
we
about
had
money.
50 years ago
No.
don't exist now, and the traditions we have now won't exist in 50 years. It's the way it fucking goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, like 30 years
Red
of tradition of like the SEC on CBS and like with the divisions.
Yeah. Red gave his predictions. Frank, your predictions? on
For group of 5?
group of 6 because we're including
Group of
Oregon,
6.
Oregon State and Washington State.
Oh, right. Well, it's definitely not going to be Oregon State or Washington State. I'll just say that right now.
No,
Definitely not going to be one. Even though they're technically playing the Mountain West now, it's not going to be them. Yeah. Realistically, it's Boise or Tulane. Those are really the two programs that because like you guys said, Liberty's schedule last year, and it doesn't really help that they then went to the bowl game and got absolutely pistol whipped. So
Yeah.
it's gonna either be Boise State or it's gonna be either Boise State or Tulane, or if you want to play technicality, it'll be Notre Dame.
For my prediction, it's either going to be Memphis, Boise, or Appalachia State.
Appalachian.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. Oh,
Really?
that'd be so much fun. The Giant
Yeah,
Killers.
because the chaos team, because they can fuck you, they can pick you up. Just look what they did in Michigan back in 2007.
Or what they
I
did
mean,
to
that
A&M.
was almost 20 years
That
ago
was so
now.
long
We can't keep
ago.
looking at that.
What about
Yeah.
okay? How about A&M recently?
That's the better
Oh
one.
yeah, A&M.
Did they beat them at Kyle Field?
Yes,
Yes.
they did.
Yeah, that's better. That's a better thing because that's again, A&M. We're talking about freaking Jimbo, another year of like top recruiting, and
Oh,
they
they play
freaking lost to
Clemson.
Appalachia State.
Oh, Clemson, Appalachian plays Clemson.
Oh,
They
There
can-
you go. There
If
could be
they
a John Kelly
if they pull
situation.
that if they pull that off and Dabo pulls a Dabo, then yeah.
Anyway,
okay. So, and who do I got for group of 6?
Yeah, group of
I don't
six.
know too much. I like that Appalachia State idea. That's for sure. Boise's probably good. Another one. I'm just going to straight up say, Liberty does it again. I don't know. They'll freaking somehow manage to do it. I guess I don't know because that's the thing. Who does Liberty have to play? Do they play anybody this year?
probably
Not
not,
of
but you
note.
still got to be able to be ranked above everybody else in the top 25.
Yeah, not with this schedule.
Oh, they can go undefeated. If they can go undefeated again, they'd get in for sure.
So yeah, Liberty's
Also-
a giant question mark.
Yeah, also honorable mention would probably go to New Mexico State as well for me.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, New Mexico State.
They beat Auburn bad at Auburn. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They might be,
Yeah,
might
still
kinda
one of
ride
my
that
favorite
high.
SEC. Still one of my favorite SEC short of that season. Like,
Auburn fans, that's all he's like. Josh is just
New
putting his head in the oven.
New Mexico State plays Texas A&M late in the season.
yeah,
He's
they
trying
can
to
still.
Virginia Wolf himself.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's just going to be any group of 5 school that is already or group of 6 school that's already good, and then we'll have to beat a big team to convince the committee to bring him in. So an
Yeah, you
Appalachian
guys
State if they beat Clemson, a New Mexico State if they beat Texas A&M.
Mhm.
You
Do
can
you guys
consider it.
remember? Do you guys remember last year when they were doing the bowl when they were picking who was getting the playoff? Did you guys see freaking Florida State's strength of schedule? I did not realize it was that bad.
Well, here's
Like for this season.
It was.
No, last year when
Last
Last
year.
year it was pretty
Yeah,
rough.
that's what. Well, yeah, that's why people were high on them.
well, here's the thing. Like, if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt
No,
in the North Alabama game, we wouldn't be even talking about Alabama.
no, they would have gotten in. Alabama would have been left out.
Yeah, anyways, I don't want this to be 2 hours. Check out my best friend Casey, Red Rubber Duckwind. He did a preview on the Big 12. Also check out Illogical Canadian. He's doing a video on the SEC. And Joe Red 5478 Hendry is doing a video about the Big 10.
I hate it when people still
Akbar-
mention that.
Yeah, Akbar, Frank, do you want any shout outs?
Go D-backs.
Diamondbacks, Akbar.
Boomer Sooner, also Alabama fan, also Houston Cougar fan. I mean Cougar alumni, and
It's just a hot fucking mess, brother.
You're a fucking.
Dude, I was a military kid, man. I was born in friggin' Arizona.
Yeah, that's a great way to be a hot mess as a
that's
military
right.
kid.
I was all over
Yeah.
the place. I lived in
Yeah, that's a great
Montgomery,
way.
Alabama.
That's a
I lived in
great
San Angelo, Texas. I was all over the place.
Yep, that's a great way. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah.
That'll
But
do it.
one more thing. Obviously, Big Ten video is coming out this weekend to review. That's going to be the culmination of a series that me and Duck and the Logical have done to review every single conference and independent team. But I got a roast coming similar to the vein of Oregon coming soon. I'm currently working on it now. And then I might slip in an extra video or two before that one comes out. We'll see how everything tracks. I'm also streaming live occasionally, trying to take Akron to a national championship of college football 25. So probably going to be streaming that again this weekend at some point. I'll have details on my YouTube channel for more.
Yep.
Honestly, man.
Anyways,
Console.
I am VolBill99. This has been everybody else. Enjoy college football, and remember, don't get captured.
Works out.